All right. Well, I'm excited for everyone. I don't know if you heard, Julia, but I'm going to be scaling back teaching. So that was what I had mentioned the last couple classes ago. So I have 2 more classes after this one, and then I'm going to be taking some time off. But I'll be probably joining along with other classes with everyone, just because I gotta, create some time, like Leah said, some Marie time.
You've had a crazy schedule, like the last couple of years. I don't know how you fitted it all in, to be honest.
Yes, it has been a little crazy and exhausting, but good. It's all been positive. But I have to give up a few things in order to create some more space for the other stuff that's going on. So, but I told Leah that, I'll be popping in, and she's arranging some really cool artists, like she just talked about, that are going to fill in some spots. So it's going to be a roaming, like, I think a new artist every month. So there's going to be like a 3-part series. Emma is going to start doing, we were just talking about Procreate on iPad. I don't know if you have an iPad, but it's so cool.
Yeah, I used it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just got it. It was like $10, and
it's awesome.
I've just been having so much fun with it. And but I'm excited to have some more insight, as Emma has a lot more experience than me just fiddling around with it. So, but it will help you in whatever you do, whatever medium. It's just drawing, continually drawing, and you can mess with pictures. So it's going to be fun. And so, yeah. So today's class, we're going to do a Mount Rainier. This is in Washington, and during the fall time, it's a popular place that a lot of people come from all over the world to go visit, and they have all these really pretty hikes, and we have lots of wildflowers. This mountain I can see from here where I live. It's about a 4-hour drive from where I'm at. So I have it on my to-do list to go up during the fall time. I've been there during the springtime, so I'd like to go and hike around. But I have, I'll send over. First, I actually cropped this picture, and I want to show you what I ended up with. I cropped it because I felt like I wanted a little bit more of the mountain, and I mean, it's overall more of the foreground, but I just wanted a little more. So this is what I did. I put the lines in, the grid lines for you. And then I turned it to black and white. And that's where we're going to start. So this is actually what it looks like. I printed it out on black and white, and the picture that I sent on the phone actually looks a little bit better, I think, because see how it kind of looks pretty dark on my printer. But I printed out black and white. Of course, I think it's a good idea. And I have the tracing paper if you'd like to do something like this and draw it out like we talked about in the past. Breaking it up into sections of value, choosing a color family, and then the dark to light, so 2 mediums. And so breaking it up into little sections to make it easier for you to know, like you're mapping for your underpainting. See if this will work. So this is just tracing paper, and you can just draw it out on your sheet if you have something printed. But essentially, it's just drawing out your shapes based on value. And so I'm just saying, okay, black and white kind of gives you an idea of the darks to the lights. Usually the sky is a 1, the lightest. And then we're just going to move down. Usually 4 is going to be your upright plane. And as you can see in this picture, you can see it's kind of climbing up. And so I'm going to go with the darkest value on the 1 through 4 scale. Then you're going to kind of come out a little bit. So maybe a 3 and maybe a 3 down here. This has a light on top. And so I'm looking underneath, thinking what's underneath all of this foliage. And I may even keep this a 4, like how we do a pathway, right? We do a pathway up. And so I may keep this the same color and then put this at like a 2. This is just simplified, just to get you started. So with that, if that's how I'm going to do it, and I'll send this over to you. There we go. Now I'm looking at my sticks of pastels. I decided to do just like a red, like what we did last class, just kept them the same pretty much. So it's these 4 sticks.
Well, why did you do the stream bed as
right here?
What looks like a stream? Oh no, it's just a cropped, but that in the foreground, the 4.
Right here.
Yeah.
Because generally, if we were to do, and that's a good question, if we were to do a dark color here and then a lighter color down here, we need to connect our foreground to our midground to our background. So in order to keep it connected, I'm going to keep this color in both areas, the foreground, the midground, and then we're going to come up here to our mountains. So that way it's not looking disjointed where you have like a really light color here, a really dark, and so then you're just kind of like this sectioned off and they're not really working with each other. We're going to cover this up with our other values, but this is going to be the darkest part and it's going to pop through a little bit more if we had this darker with maybe just a value lighter, just like we did the last one where we had that dark pathway and you could see the flowers kind of pop through a little bit more because of the contrast. So if it was too light and then we were to put lighter colors on that, it makes it really hard. You're not going to see any contrast really. So I'm feeling that this is going to be, and this is just with time of doing these types of paintings. This isn't something I expect. This is why I'm teaching, is that we want to connect this area with this area. And this also is going to be our pathway. And so, does that help? Does that make sense? Okay. No, that's a good question. So just simplifying. So again, our number 4 is going to be, I have this dark, like red violet. And the next one, our 3 is just a shade lighter. And I know it's pink, but that's okay. I like having my colors shine through. On my underpainting, here's the number 2. And then here's a number 1. And I sent over a picture, but that's just so you can see, and I'll take a picture so it's a little bit clearer for you. Okay. So we can just go ahead and if anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask. And I'm going to just grab this pastel and it's just my number 1. I'm just going to sketch out. So you're just going to go from this sketch essentially, and it's not going to be that difficult. We're just blocking in, and I'm just using this light one as my lines, and then I'm going to come back in with my darks, my correct colors that I've mapped out. So here's 4, These are going to be my trees. I'm using UART 400 today. It makes it pretty simple. Now I've got my 3. I'm going to go to my 2. And then my 1. And that's it. That's the basics.
Can you just point to, I'm just struggling with my colors as always. Can you just point on the one you just sketched to which is the 4, 3, 2, and 1?
Absolutely. So I'm going to send over a picture to you so it's
Thanks.
clear. So this is my 4.
Yep.
And then this is my 3.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yep.
is my 2.
Right. Okay.
And then my 1.
Okay. Thank you.
And one other thing that you can do is take a picture of these sticks and turn them to black and white. If you kind of struggle with seeing the value change, like, is this the same as the other one, or is this enough difference in darkness to the lightness? You can take a picture of your 4 sticks and then turn it to black and white. That really helps when you're beginning to notice the changes in value. And so here's, 4, 3. Why did I choose pink? Well, we've got a lot of oranges and reds and greens. And traditionally, I think as complementary colors, right, red and green, I think that our colors are going to really look nice and set nice on these colors. So that's why I chose these as our underpainting. Underpaintings, some artists say they don't do it, some do. Like, let's say I have pastel matte here, and this is just a blue, dark blue pastel matte. You can put alcohol on it or mineral. You can put water on it. I don't. I generally just do a dry sketch with my pastel, but that's a personal choice. It's already what I consider toned. Essentially, that's what we're trying to do right now, is tone our paper and create a map, a pathway. And I hadn't really decided what I wanted to do in terms of whether alcohol or a dry. I think I'm going to do an alcohol today. I haven't done an alcohol wash for a while. So if you have it, definitely do it. Okay. I'm going to do the 70%. You can see it here. This is what I'm using today. Go ahead and send over where you guys your sketches. Let me see. Leah and I were chatting about drawing and sketching, why Procreate's kind of fun, and just drawing in general. And I do know that these are pretty simplified landscape drawings. For me, I'm going into this class assuming you have some background in drawing skills or the basics. But if not, it's good to to join her drawing class to brush up on some skills if you feel like you're needing to. This class mainly is the start to the finish, how we go through the process of picking out a landscape and painting. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. She wanted me to make sure I mentioned it. So let's see. Find my brush. Because I have a bazillion of them. I guess this is fine. All right. So I'm going to start with the lightest value. Which is my sky. I'm just pushing this paint in because it kind of turns into paint. Good. That looks great, everyone. Nice. Good. So now we get to just do the fun part. Well, I think it's fun. This is one of my favorites. Because you just never know what's going to happen. You get these really fun little drips. And to me, I like that. But some artists don't. And that's okay too. I'm going to come down here. Not quite into my dark yet. And I'm looking at the contours because I am holding my paintbrush like I'm painting. Because I am, right? And so I'm doing short little strokes. Like these would be the shrubs. I'm just kind of looking at the overall shape of this mountain, and it's kind of swoops down here.
I'm calling mine Valentine's Day Massacre and leaving it just as it is.
Yes.
It looks like a Hallmark store exploded.
You have to see this. This is hilarious. It is kind of funny when you don't, I mean, I don't think about it like it really does. Oh my God. Oh, I love it. See? You had no idea, did you? I was going to be teaching horror painting. You get a lesson in horror painting. Murder on the Mount Rainier. Good grief. That's hilarious. Oh. And I'm bringing some of this up into here, and you can. This, you're painting, and you can bring and soften that edge a little bit, so it's not just a hard. You've got this kind of coming down this hill. Flattening out. Got some shrubbery. Just kind of. This comes at a slope and at an angle into this canyon here, the hillside. I'm just kind of blending these edges a little bit, softening them so it's not just this stark. Take your time. Yeah, that looks great, Emma. This is fun. I have not painted this either. I thought about doing one that I had painted before, but then I saw this and I thought, well, this would be kind of fun. So it's going to be new, a new one. One thing to think about with mountains in general, and we've painted them in the past, but just for those who don't know, mountains are relative to their surroundings. And so what that means is with aerial perspective, as we've talked about, things that move in the distance get bluer and they get not as, you know, distant, and they're not as detailed, right? But the thing when we're painting this, we'll start a little bit with the sky, and we'll add some more down here into the foreground. But until we have enough here and in the sky, it makes it really hard to decide value-wise what that mountain's going to look like. So just keep that in mind, that if you're working from the sky down to the mountain, then down to here, it's going to be too hard to get that mountain to look proper value-wise. So just something to keep in mind as we work through. That's why I'm going to kind of start with the sky, and then we're going to bounce down into here, and then kind of move up into the mountain. So it's moving around the scene and not just doing one thing at a time. Fun, Jackie. Yeah.
My mountain is a little too far back. I don't know if I can make it bigger in the...
Yeah, so one great thing about the underpainting for you and for everyone, right, is that you can come in and redefine.
Cool.
Okay, what does that mean? Well, if you even have like a pastel pencil, or let's say you have a new pastel, you can come in with your new pastel and you can readjust and draw out and say, this is not looking proper, and I feel like I need to bring it up here, you know, and my mountain needs to kind of come up here and then down. So you can take your new pastel, and this is the time that you can do that.
Okay.
And And so take your time doing that right now. Go back here. You can use the same pastels that you did to draw and say, okay, I need to bring my mountain more here, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of comes out. So redefine. This is when we get to redefine those areas. And so if any of you guys feel like your proportions are off, this is the time that I would go in and adjust. And maybe you need to bring the mountain shorter. Maybe the mountain needs to be shorter. You can bring your sky and just bring it in like that. We do this a lot in painting waves. If you remember the wave class, where we do the underpainting and then we come back in and we make sure that, because what happens with this underpainting is lines that were drawn in now become blurred, which is what we want. But if you're doing something very specific like a wave, or making sure that your measurement of your mountain like is coming out proportionally, this is, you know, a time to measure how many widths, you know, where should it be placed on your picture, on your drawing. This is the time to refine. So I'm just gonna, I've got a few sky colors here pulled, but kind of see what I have going on. It's kind of like a gray day, a little bit. That looks more like mountain. That looks mountain too. And maybe something like that. I'm just testing.
So are you looking for grays or light purples? I'm trying to see.
For me, I'm going to be doing more blues, but you can do purples. I'm just kind of testing out what I have here that I think will work, and it's a mix of 3 values in the blue family, and it is more on the grade purple, like what you were asking. And I'll send a picture. Ooh, this is kind of dirty. So you can see better here. One thing about pastels, go bright first. Go bright, and then you can dull it down. It's very hard to go from dull to bright. So that's why I'm taking this brighter blue, and I'm kind of starting over here, and then I'm coming in with my mid value blue. And then I'm coming in with my lighter. And this is just to get this sky down, and then I'll come back in later and adjust it and whatever I need to do, add clouds. But this is just to get some color down. we work at the same pace all the way through. So we're just getting color down right now. Then we'll come back to the refining again, and then the last details. We don't want to do detailed here, detailed here, detailed here. You'll spend way too much time on certain areas of the painting, and it just won't, it will look disjointed. So we're just gonna put some color in, move to our next. We're gonna come down here and reinstate the darks. So what does that mean? I'm gonna take some of that. I'm moving to soft pastels, by the way. Very similar to that purple that I had for the underpainting. And now I'm looking at temperature. I'm looking at, is this in the shade? Where's the sun? Is it warmer? It looks like the sun's hitting on this side of the hill and this is in the shade. So I'm looking at cooler. I'm looking at darker valued. So this is a cooler. This is warmer. I'll take a picture of these two so you can see. So the one on the left is warmer. The one on the right is cooler. So I've got cooler on this side, very light touch. Warmer on this side, very light. And you're asking, why are we going back with purple? Because this is our underneath, our dirt, and we layer. With pastels, we layer. So this is in the sun, this is warmer in here. Moving to the cooler. Okay. Okay, so let's go with some, that's a cool green. I'm thinking about in here, we've got a lot of rock and gravel, and I kind of want to put in like maybe a blue. Mid-tone value blue. We're just gonna throw that in. I'm picking up some of these rocks. I'm not worried about putting those rocks in yet. I'm just thinking about this rock laying over this dark dirt. And so I'm just laying that in over. We'll come back in and adjust that. But again, we're just building from the ground up, literally. It's hard to sometimes train yourself to think about what is underneath all of these brights. But that's what we're going to put in right at the last minute. We're building these layers.
Can you take a picture of your overall picture?
Oh, absolutely.
For some reason, it's very fuzzy on the live.
All right. So let's start with down in the corner here, this area. We're gonna make it a little bit brighter because then it's gonna be more detailed. So I'm gonna push the color. We're knowing that I can come back and dull it down. So I'm gonna push the color in a green, and I'm probably gonna go with something really bright. Something like this. I know. You're thinking this is crazy. It is bright. Don't worry. We want it. All right. So now we need to address this area, and I'm thinking it's going to be this rust, mid-tone. Still kind of just lightly. So I'm going to take a new pastel, and it's a dark green. It's kind of more of a black. Let's try this. See if that works better. And right now, it's blue. That's fine. Right now, I kind of just want to establish some anchor points. So I want our eye leading through the pathway. I want to put in some trees and just get a little bit more of the perspective set. So by doing that, I'm going to take this new pastel, and it's just a little small hard piece. You can use a dark green, dark blue, something that's in darker value. And I'm just going to get my bearings set now to just establish some of these. And I do like this. This is kind of going to jump us over to here into these shrubberies. Paying attention to where, this is kind of sloping in. We've got some trees. Kind of come up here. And I like how this peaks up into the mountain. It gives a very nice perspective. I'm not pressing hard at all. Trying to make sure that some of these trees aren't the same height. So I'm varying it. And I do like some of these pines out here. We've got this pathway. And I do like these trees, but they're kind of right in the center. So I'm going to shift them a little bit over to the right. think these are pretty important, these trees here. We've got a little bit of that sunlight hitting them. So it's going to also give us an indication of where the sun's hitting. And
Sorry, Marie, which color are you using there?
this is just like a, it almost looks like a blue-green new pastel.
Okay, thank you.
Oops. Just looking at the dark areas, squinting my eye, just adding some of this in. Varying the pressure. We don't want them too big back in here, because if they were too big, then that tells us we'd be up too close. So just, this is how we create that perspective. If you need to, you can measure. I mean, they're teeny. And then as you notice, when you put in these trees, this is going to create these little areas within these trees that we can sneak color into. And without drawing every little tree, shrub, this enables you to kind of just create that pathway however you want it to look. And take your time. I mean, just lightly adding color in here. There's a rock. I probably will put in. Here's another one.
So you're doing these trees before doing the mountain in the background.
Yep.
And you said it's like a dark blue.
For the trees, or what was the
Oh,
question?
did you switch?
Mm-mm. No, it's still the same. It's like a blue-green. It's just going to be mixing. It looks different when it mixes with the other pastels.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not tackled the mountain yet. So here we go. You can also squint your eyes at the picture, and so you can look and say, okay, I kind of need to bring this out here a little bit more, and because we're creating that pathway. This is our way of orchestrating our painting. So I'll wait, and then you guys can send over where you're at. I'm gonna see what I have for mountain. That might be a good one. um, see here. Maybe. So, and you can sit here and measure. It's about, this might be a little too tall. Oops, sorry guys. So you can just bring that in. And then just thinking about color for the mountain. Might work. Going a little bit more purple over here. Because it's a little bit more in the shadow. Let's see. Let's see, so these are the colors I threw on the cooler end, bluer end. I'm gonna let them sit here for a minute. That's good, Jackie. So on your sky part, you can cut back into your hillside, to your mountain, to your mountain part, and you can flatten out that top part a little bit more.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I like the blue on the purple down in there, and you're adding more color, and so it's good. You can start by add the sky in there to break it up a little bit.
Okay.
Flatten out the mountain.
Yeah, it was just wet because I'm using Gamsol.
Oh, yes. So it hasn't dried yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Nice, Emma. I love the bright color. That green on it is really pretty. Good, Robin. Good. So now with your dark blue that you're using for the trees, so now when you come in, you can use did you use a new pastel?
The hard one, yeah.
Yeah, on the side it has like this, mine's kind of worn off now, but it has a hard edge, and you can use it to create that real like part where the trunk of the tree, and then if you just kind of squiggle very lightly, you can get a tree super fast.
Okay.
And so you can go up and just kind of indicate a little bit and move all around. It's kind of nice. So good job. All right. Let's see what this is. This is what I was just using. Yes. Okay. This is light turquoise. I'm just kind of seeing how this is going to set on here. I'm just using the edge of it to come down between those trees. We don't have to worry about every little crevice on the mountain. What we are more interested in is the part that's getting hit by the light and, you know, direction of the snow, and not necessarily just every little nook and cranny. And one of the nice things about pastel is I'm using the edge of this square, and I'm just pressing and moving it and pressing and dragging, and then lightly just pulling it like this and drag, and it blends just like that. So I'll show you. Yeah. Right now I'm just, I think we have enough on the mountain to just wait.
Is that a sort of a light lilac or purple that you're doing with the snow there, Marie?
Yeah, it's like this muted purple. I feel like this is different. It says it's 400 grit, but it doesn't feel like it. Feels like 500. It's weird. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that for right now. We have our basic shapes, and you know what we want to kind of move down into here. Spend too much time in one area, and then that's a sign we gotta. I know I need to darken this, but that's gonna come once I get some more greens and work in here. So now we're gonna kind of start in on this ridge. This is in shadow mostly, so I'm going to be using a cool green. It's going to be more on the bluer side because it's distant. So I have this blue-green, and I'm just going to come right in here, right where I put those trees, and do the same type of, I guess, movement with my pastel. I'm just going to come right back in where those dark marks, and got a ridge here. Put in a little bit of these trees. Bit of the shrubbery. I don't want to cover up all of these really nice opened areas because this is where you're going to see how this pink and this red is popping through, which is really nice. We've got some shadowed areas over here. I'll add a little bit of this green. Got some over in here a little bit. Okay, that's it really for that shadowed green. Now I'm going to go with a little bit warmer green. It's got more yellow in it. Let's see how this works over in this area. Might be too close to the same value. That's okay. We can put it down in here. And it's warmer, so put some just little bits. Little bits. This marks. So now I'm going to show you the difference of these two sticks so you can see, because as it gets into the distance, it's bluer and it's different and cooler. So this one on the left is what I was using in the distance, and the one on the right is what I'm using as we move forward. So we've got quite a bit of orange and yellow. So we've got the distant paler oranges that are going to be farther in the back, moving up to the more intense, more saturated oranges. So I'm just going to see what I have here. Peaches. And what I want to show you as we move forward. So the middle. All right. So these pastels that I sent you, the ones on the far right, are a duller version of the ones in the center to the left. So we want duller, and I suggest when you're starting to think about the colors, even though this intensity kind of seems like it's the same here, you have to remember that this picture is portraying that in some respects, but we'll hit these lights at the very end, but we also want to make sure that we're doing more saturated in the front and brighter colors, and then moving back with the cooler and the duller. And it's sometimes hard to see that in local color on a picture, but we just have to know that as a painter. So while you're picking out the colors, just set them next to each other and see, is this duller than, if I were to use this in the middle, I need a duller version. Duller meaning it's got more white, it's tinted, it's not as bright. So, and I'm sorry, I keep hitting this camera, kind of like hanging off to the side here a little bit. Then you just kind of try it out and see how it works. You know, this is a pretty light, we've got a little bit of light hitting over into here. It might work. I'll kind of just leave it there. We've got some out over on this side. I'm just trying it out. Color is relative. Will it work? I don't know. Once it sits next to each other.
So we're looking for kind of like yellows and greens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We kind of want it a dull, muted. Yellows and greens and pinks. We've got like this cool muted green almost in the back. And if you don't have all these colors, that's okay. You can take a color and then you gray it down. You take a grayer version of that color, or gray even, and pull it down to a cooler temperature. I'm looking for maybe this is like a minty green, but it's cool. And maybe this will work on some of these trees here in the I'll just see how that works. Got a muted orange. Might be too bright. Might be better over in this. So I tested over here, it's too bright. I want this more in the shadow. This might be even still too light. Just testing over here. This is a darker orange. Well, that's okay. Still need darker, more saturated. And that's, you know, I'm testing colors down here to adjust my values as I move up into the painting. This is a, it's like a tan. That might work. It's warming up a little bit, coming over this blue for a pathway. All right. This is a very deep terracotta red. I'm thinking maybe just a little bit of a hint. Just little bits. We have this hillside that kind of want to address. So these are the two colors I used. They're about the same. That looks great, Jeannie. Now I would add, I like the moodiness of like your sky. That looks really great with the pink.
The pink undertone.
Yeah, I do like the pink showing through.
Although, does it make it too sunrise, sunsetty?
I think at this point, I would start adding in some more of the undertones, like the darker greens, like earth tones.
Mhm.
Start adding some of those in right in here.
Right
And
where?
then right in here, right in this section, over that light green. And then start adding some more saturated color down in here, like with your greens, like a darker green, yellow, more yellow green. Because I mean, we haven't put the brights on any of this. I mean, we're still building up our color. And I may even spray this just so I can get some more texture down in here. So I want to lay some of that, this yellowy gold, almost like this. Yeah. See how it works really nice with that purple underneath, that yellow. And you can just very lightly. I mean, it's a lot of slow slow going on this type of painting. I know it's layers upon layers. But that blue in there gives it that nice with that brown. And I'm just very lightly touching this with this golden yellow. Our little path, right? Kind of coming down into here. Not want like an entire line per se. That won't look right, but and it's getting brighter. So I'll show you these two that I was using so you can see. If you aren't sure what color to use, go darker, because you can then go lighter. So that's the area I did it. Use that gold. See how nice that looks over the purple and that blue. And it'll look good once we get the grasses and, you know, use our marks to create like it's little grasses and little shrubbery. Right now, we're still just putting in the groundwork. And it does take a while. It really does. And you can have pastel pencils too, if you have those. Those are always good.
Okay, I think I've lost my way with what is warm and what is cool.
Okay, let me see.
I just sent a picture.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so let's start at the top. And what I want you to do is take a, if you have a brush handy.
Okay.
And it can be just a dry brush, and you can just sit here and go ahead and like take it and tap it like this to soften those light edges. So I want you to just kind of tap those down. When you come over onto this side, I want you to kind of push some of that pastel off a little bit so it's not so bright yellow. And then coming down here, so what's happened is you have a really, really bright in your darker area. So what's happening is with those lights up here, it's fighting your front, so you're not getting that push, that distance. So these are too bright, these colors in the back. And so I would take your brush and get that knocked off and down into here too. You want to keep those bright saturated colors down here in the foreground. And up here is going to be very pale. So very, very pale, but
and darker.
Yeah.
And remind me, where's warm and where's cool again?
So your warm is going to be where your sun's hitting. So you've got some warm colors here, and these are all kind of in the shadow.
Yeah.
But we're gonna kind of put some warmer colors here to get our eye to move through the painting. So that's part of. You may not necessarily see that in this overall picture, but this is, yeah, the sun's hitting here. The sun is hitting here. This is actually warmer. We've got a little bit of this peak over here that has some warm purples. I can see it's got more redder tones to it. That's telling you that it's got more warmth with the red. So when you're looking at a, if you have one of these color wheels, and so if you split it in half, you've got the red and the orange and yellow on the warm side, and you've got the violet, blue, and green on the cool side. Okay. And so when you're thinking about warm and you see a reddish purple, that reddish is going to indicate that's probably warmer. The sun's hitting these areas of the rock. So you're gonna be warmer in this selection of that color, the temperature. When you're coming down here into the shadow area, it's red, but the shadow area of red is going to be maroon. It's going to be a darker, muted color of that red.
Okay, so it's warm but darker over there where the tip of your
Correct.
head. Okay.
Correct.
Got it. And then the whole left side of the painting is the cooler area.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, this is great.
Even when these colors look the same as this, we have to, in our mind, be conscious that this is probably receiving a little bit more of the sunlight. So we're gonna just notch it up a little bit more in value, saturation. But over here, if we were to paint this the same saturation, meaning the same pureness, that bright red, if we painted bright red here, here, it'd all be flat. You wouldn't have any distance. So
Got it.
in our mind, if we're doing bright red here, we're going to do a step darker, cooler here, and then even darker and cooler here, or lighter. I mean, it's kind of like where the light, I mean, it's shadow, it's going to be darker, but if the light was hitting it, then it would be lighter and grayer. So, you know, it does take time to be able to process that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I kind of want to. And it's up to you if you want to put these rocks in down below. I don't know, it might be something. May not be. I'm not sure. And that's just a medium. Gray. Let's see. This is more of a green. Might work. Some of these trees that are down here closer has more color in it. That will push those cooler green trees in the distance. Probably want to keep that over here in the, it just has more blue in it. That looks good, Emma. It's really pretty. I like the purple down in here.
Thanks.
So I wanted to show this green, the differences. So see how it has more yellow here, and then you move back to here. It still has some yellow, but we're going more blue-green to the very distant trees where they're just definitely duller. And so that's kind of the variation of what I'm talking about for the greens and creating that distance. And I'm not putting in their little limbs. You can later, but I'm not doing that quite yet. We're still in the process of getting this. As a matter of fact, time-wise, we probably should get some of these flowers down in here. I'm gonna spray the front area. You don't have to. It darkens it a little bit, but it's just so I can layer some more color, some pastel. Whew. Stinks. Okay. So I'm thinking about starting out darker. Then I'm gonna go to a mid-tone, then to a lighter color. Let's see what I have here. That actually looks better. That won't work. Same. Let's see here. I like to layer my flowers into 3 colors. So I'm doing this bright red. And can I come up in clumps? I'm going to go with this mid-tone. I'll take a picture so you guys can see these. That looks good, Jackie. That's better with the mountain.
Thank you.
So now what you can do with on the mountain is you can go like a shade lighter for the snow in the areas that have the brights, where you want to just add some brights, which will really, and then take some of that light, and then if you add it down into the walkway, maybe down here, it will tie in. So it's looking really good.
Thanks.
Good job. And then I'm going to take this. And I'm making them pretty big because they're in front. And then I'm going with my light. I'm just going to stay over in some of these areas. And this over here is going to be kind of more my shadow. So I might do like a orangey to say, well, these are kind of not getting the full light. You're getting some light, but not as much. Okay. And then we've got these down in front. Same idea. We're going to take an orange. We're going to go to a mid-tone orange. And then a nice, fun yellow. Maybe even this bright. And these are a little bit like longer. So I'm going to change the style of these. And I'm using the edge of my pastel. And I'm coming straight up, if you can see. Because they've got little flowers that come down the stem. Almost like this V. I'm just almost doing like an X. And then the very, very bright, which I think needs to be a little bit more green. So we'll just add that in. Just like that. And then as it's moving over here, it's in the shade, let's say, but it's not as green, which is fine. And then we have our grasses. This is just a new pastel and kind of come out here. This very simple. And then it's just kind of going back through. Obviously, I can add highlights here and there. Like this green up here it's pretty yellow. Maybe you need to add that to the trees. Right? Yeah, that's better, Robin. See how that looks better?
Yeah, I think the thinking of it as darker and then lighter in the foreground, but cooler on one side, warmer on the other.
Yep.
And then
So,
for my front, what were we gonna say?
Go ahead.
For my foreground, I need to think of same thing where it's cooler on the left, warmer on the right, but lighter colors now.
And like look at what you're painting. You're painting shrubs and you're hitting the tops, but underneath it is all those stalks. So we have all this dark in here, and now you're going to just hit the tops of them. So what I would do in this area for yours is I would take your that dark green that you have like right in this area. I would take that back and if you can find it in a hard pastel, and I would come in and see where you have like dark here and you have some dark here.
Yeah.
So put in some more of your base of your shrubbery, just like this. Then you're going to come over the top of it and you're going to work from a darker mid-tone value. Just see the difference. You have a dark and then you're coming up and then you're going to have a lighter color on top. It's a process. So right now you have like too many lights, and they're kind of like squigglies all over, and you need it more up and down.
Got it.
You up and down right now because that's where your shrubberies are up and down.
And use the hard pastels for that.
I would do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could take your brush and brush off some of that light pastel. Which is fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. How's everyone else doing? It's been a while for me painting, actually.
You need us, Marie, you need us.
I do need you. I know. Well, I've been busy doing commissions, but they're not in pastel right now. And so, so I was like, okay, yeah, it's just, there's a little bit of a difference, you know? So, I do, but I'll be seeing you guys in the other classes. I know for sure. It'll be nice to kind of going back to doing stuff like that. It's hard. You guys are doing good showing up every week. It's a lot.
You're going to be a hard act to follow, Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Did I say a lot?
In this.
You what?
There's a lot of prep in this for you, an awful lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to where I've painted enough, but it's more of like I sift through. I spend a lot of time. I think that's probably 4 to 6 hours a week just getting ready for a class.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that is a lot for me. I work full time too, and
Yeah,
with commission paintings. I'm super grateful for all of it, but I am running out of time more often.
You don't want to burn out. You don't want to burn out and then start resenting it, because you want to still enjoy it, right? If it stops being fun, then
yeah, I'm kind of encroaching on that definite burnout for sure. It's a lot.
It's been pretty hard 2 years for everybody, hasn't it? I think
it is, and our world has kind of changed and morphed into different things, and I know for my work, it's just and then having teenagers, you think that they don't need you as much, but then they need you more. It's kind of like nuts.
They need you more.
Yeah, they're just more needy, which is fine.
It's so tough for them. I always thought that 1 minute they're 12 and the next minute they're gone, but then they need you in a different way. You don't need to be as present, but the stress is more emotional.
Yes.
And it's difficult.
It is. I would say in the last little bit of time, it's been trying for sure. I mean, I'm a single parent, one that lives with me full time, and so there's that piece of it too that kind of like, okay, I really gotta, we're on the home stretch, I guess, but he still needs more attention.
How old is he?
He will be 17. So he's more special needs, I guess, on that spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So
as well.
There's just a lot more attention needed at times than the norm. So yeah, it's all good. They're all great boys. They're good boys. It's just they need mom right now. And I need breaks too. So, but it's all good, and art's wonderful for giving me that outlet, the good positive outlet. And and it's been wonderful doing this class because no, it's pushed me to think about how to do what I do, but put it in words. It's pretty, teaching's tough. And especially when you haven't done this particular picture. And so you're making decisions and sitting here thinking about, okay, how am I going to do this? Okay. And then you change, right? In the midst of everything, you're like, nope, that's not going to work. So
It's
you guys
just
have,
like parenting.
oh my God, right? You're exactly right. Yes, it is. And so, yeah, but I didn't even think that I could even manage to do the teaching part. Leah's been after me for quite some time, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try it. And it's been wonderful, but now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to take a break.
You can always come back if you get more time. That's like,
For sure, I will for sure do that. Definitely. It's one of the things that I told Leah that it's really forced me every day to think about painting, to you know, do whatever I need to do, plan out things, and it's been wonderful. I love it. And meeting all of you guys, and you know, I just like to take a break, and then I'm gonna be taking some classes, some workshops. So hopefully I can come back and share some experiences with some pastelists that I'm going to take classes with. So I'm super excited about that. Always learn new things from new teachers, right?
absolutely.
And yeah, so doing that and take some time off. I've been taking care of my mom too. She just had her knee replaced. So
What we call the sandwich generation, Marie.
yeah,
Like, stuck in the middle. You're the meat in the sandwich between the kind of the younger generation and the older generation, and it's tough.
it's really tough. It's really tough, and like you're just trying to help, but sometimes it's like, ugh.
So you have to put your own oxygen mask on sometimes first.
Exactly.
So true. I feel that right now. And you're like being pulled in every which direction. It's a lot.
Mhm.
But, you know, I know that it will eventually change. Is your parents about close, or is that what's happening with you, Julia? Or
My dad passed away just before the pandemic, but I was his primary carer for 10 years. So,
oh wow.
and at the same time, I had my daughter, who's now 11. So I had the two of them. And then I've got my two grown-up children as well. My mum passed away 3 weeks before my daughter was born.
Oh man.
So it was,
That's
yeah,
brutal.
I have to know where you are.
You do, man. It's tough. It is tough, but I'm feeling optimistic. We'll get everyone figured out, right? Get the kids figured out, and hopefully be able to start traveling a little more.
I have to say, this holiday I went on, I didn't realize how much I needed it. When you have a kind of a staycation, if that's what we call them in the UK. I don't know if you do the same.
We do too.
Yeah.
it's different because you're doing kind of similar things. There's not, when you go to another country, completely different weather, different language, different food, it really changes everything, and it really does feel like you got away from whatever it was you were trying to get away from. And I just felt like I don't know, could let my breath out. It's like I've been holding my breath for 2 years.
Gosh, that's definitely how I feel. 100%. Yeah, I keep saying that too. It's exactly how it feels. Like I'm going to go crazy if I don't take some time off.
Yeah. It's being in the same environment all the time as well, isn't it? I don't know if you go to your office, but I am in this same space all the time for everything. And when I walked back across the hall and sat down in this seat after the Christmas break, I just thought, oh my God, I can't do this anymore.
I do. I've been going in for the most part, but I feel like, I don't know if it's just my age or this is normal, where you just kind of like reevaluate everything and you're just like, I don't know if this is really for me.
Apparently more 50 somethings are again in the same sort of situation where they're that kind of sandwich generation, and they are leaving work in droves. They're just saying, I'm not going to a new job, I'm just not doing any job, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, like that's how I feel. It's very strange. And there's got to be there's got to be a balance, right?
Yeah.
So, trying to find that balance. It's tough, and I know everyone is definitely, and the work from home, teleworking is definitely a possibility now, way more than it's ever been. Companies are allowing it or just solely going to telework positions, which is great. So I'm kind of in between. I like the telework, but I also like the human contact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my job, we're now 3 days in the office, 2 days work from home a week. And it's really
okay.
nice because it gives you still that extra no commute time to sleep in a little bit and not put on makeup and, wear your sweats to work. But then you also have that get up, get dressed, be a human, a sociable human being and be with people.
Yeah, that's great. And you like it.
Yeah,
very
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new job, Jeannie, right? You've left
Yes.
Reuters.
Yeah, this is actually my second job since I left Reuters. The first job I got, I did not like. So.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yes. I know it's hard to think about. Like, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what kind of job. Mine's so specialized. I don't know.
The Reuters alumni gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Yep. This is going to be a painting where you can work on it for a while. Oh, that's all right. It's fun. And you guys, if you have things that you're interested in, tackling, send over the pictures. I'm open to it. Whatever you guys want to do.
Do I have too many colors happening?
You have too many colors?
Do I have too many colors?
Oh, do you? Let me see. I feel like I do. let's see here.
No, yours is still soft. Mine, I feel like there's color here and color there.
No, I think it's beautiful.
It's
I
gorgeous.
I love it. I just leave it how it is. I mean, I think it's very simplified, and it has a moodiness. I love the mountain. I think it looks great. I think it
My
looks,
daughter loves your pictures, Jeannie. She always, I show them after the class, and
Yeah.
I say, and she goes, "Oh, that's Jeannie's one. She didn't got your
Oh,
style."
that's so
It's
sweet.
nice to send you some.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you.
yeah, just beautiful. And you can't, I mean, you can see how you can go crazy with the color in this one.
Yeah.
You know, you can definitely go crazy, but I love it. I think it looks great, and I would just leave it. So I know I'm going to go back through and mess with things. Let's see. Got a mat. This is always a good thing too. Get your mat out, and then you can kind of see what I need to fix and where. Oh, Molly, you're fine. Great. So here we go.
Coming up to the end of class, she knows.
I know, isn't that crazy?
She's like, "Come on, time to finish." She's your alarm clock.
She's such a little stinker. I know. You're just, I know. Look at you. That looks good, Jackie. I like it. Now you can just add some pops of color if you want and lighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, everyone.
So do we have class next week?
Don't think so.
Okay.
We have class the 6th.
Okay.
So I will see you guys on the 6th, or in some of Leah's classes. I probably will start coming, maybe like the Sunday open class, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But all right, I'm going to sign off. Tend to the
Thank
pooch.
you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye. Thanks.
Have a good day.